using the clues. Are you ready? Number 1. A conclusion or opinion that is formed because of known facts or evidence. What do you think is this? Correct. The answer is inference. Number 2. Something which shows that something else is true. The correct answer here is evidence. Great. And for number 3, to quote by way of example, authority, or proof. The answer here is very good. Cite. Now, I think you're ready for our lesson. Let's proceed. Let's define text evidence. It uses specific examples and ideas from a text to help support and further define your own claims and ideas. It gives your words validity and strength. On the other hand, we have a general statement. It is a claim that needs to be proven. It presents the topic of a paragraph, essay, or book, and it usually expresses the main point or main idea of a piece of writing. Remember those two terminologies. Now, let me give you an example. The rainforest is home to many creatures. Monkeys, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and mammals live in the rainforest. Butterflies and anteaters also live in the forest. Now, let's examine the general statement and the text evidence. For the general statement, the rainforest is home to many creatures, while the text evidence that supports this claim is monkeys, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and mammals live in the forest. Now, there are points to remember in citing text evidence. The first one, read and understand the text thoroughly. It is important to read the text thoroughly so that you may be able to identify not only the main idea of the text, but also the specific details to support the main idea. Number 2, identify the general statement or the main idea from the text you read. When you can identify the general statement or the main idea of the text, it would be easier for you to cite or search for the text evidence to support your claims. Number 3, go back to the text to find supporting statements to give your claims validity. Once the general statement is identified, that's the time to look for some specific details from the text that will support the general statement or idea. Number 4, add quotes to your response. Finally, add the quotes of the author or use your own words to relay the idea of the author to support or explain your claim. And number 5, remember, not all ideas are explicitly stated in the text. Therefore, sometimes we have to make an inference. To do this, we use evidence from the text and our prior knowledge to understand the text better. This is also called to read between the lines. Now, let me give you another example. You are talking in the class while the class discussion is ongoing, and suddenly, your teacher makes a frowning face. Let's examine the general statement and the text evidence. For the general statement, your teacher is angry with you. And the text evidence that supports this claim, you are talking in the class while the class discussion is ongoing. Your teacher is trying to make a point in her discussion. Suddenly, she makes a frowning face. Now, let's discover a few more examples of citing text evidence. Number 1, religious gatherings represent Filipinos' faithfulness to God. We may have different religions, But we commonly believe in one supreme being. Masses, processions, feasts of saints, weddings, baptisms are Filipinos' best practices to celebrate life with God. What is the general statement? Religious gatherings represent Filipinos' faithfulness to God, while the text evidence is masses, processions, feasts of saints, weddings, baptisms are Filipinos' best practices to celebrate life with God. Next example. I always dream to become a philanthropist, someone who dedicates oneself into helping others, someone who is capable of providing anything essential to others abundantly. In other words, I dream to become a wealthy person to be able to help and provide something for others, especially the poor ones. I am only 13 years old, but I have this desire to help many people. My young age frustrates me that I don't have the capacity to provide what others need. I don't come from a well-off family, by the way. It seemed that I am hopeless to become what I want to be. To examine further, the general statement in this text is, I always dream to become a philanthropist. The text evidence, I dream to become a wealthy person to be able to help and provide something for others, especially the poor ones. Now that we're done with the discussion, let's try this activity. Get a piece of paper and let's answer. I know you can do this. Read carefully and choose the letter of the best answer. In a faraway mountain, there was a happy couple, Ethel and Ariel, living together with a very simple life. They used to live in a nipa hut, eat foods from their farm, and catch fishes from the river. The husband was a farmer working all day at the farm. It is an excerpt from the story The Good Harvest by Richie Javier. Now, let's proceed with the questions. Number 1. Based on the text, how do you know that Ariel is a farmer? Letter A. He had tools. Letter B. He wore a hat. Letter C. He had abundant harvest. Or he worked all day at the farm. What do you think is the answer? Number 2. What type of person is Ariel? A. Hardworking. B. Helpful to others. C. Obedient. Or letter D. Courageous. The answer here is... And for number 3, what relationship did Ethel and Ariel have? They A. Were neighbors. B. Were colleagues. C. Were husband and wife. Or letter D. Were brother and sister. Congratulations for completing this lesson. Thank you very much for watching and